All right, here we go. Here we go. I have not looked in the mirror. I have no idea what I look like. Whatever. Tale as old as time. Am I right? Okay. Hot topic today. It's going to be a hot topic. All right. Are you guys ready for this? I've been wanting to talk about it for a while. Okay. This episode is what to expect when you're having an affair. Okay. Let's talk about it. Let me see. Make sure. God, I'm so nervous about not having it record. Please record. Okay? We got this. Okay. What to expect when you're having an affair. I know that this episode is going to pique a lot of interest, but it's been something I've really been wanting to talk about. Actually, I want to have like a couple of shows based on this, what to expect when you're ... Like, there's a lot to talk about. You know, like those books you read, like when you get pregnant, what to expect when you're expecting, or getting married, or any other positive thing that can go on in your life, when in reality, I feel like that's not very real. And there's no like it's just live happily ever after, but there's so much shit that happens in midlife that nobody talks about. Like what to expect when you're divorcing. I'm actually working on an episode with someone that I contacted. Or what to expect when you're a single parent. What to expect when life isn't what you thought it was going to be, right? So all of these things, I want to talk about them. But for today, let's talk about affairs, okay? I have lots of notes on this. You know, so many people in my life right now are in affairs. And I feel like because I'm such an open person, they feel comfortable sharing and talking to me about it, which is fine. But I feel like it's so prevalent and no one talks about it, okay? Someone's either in an affair, they've been having an affair for a long time. I know someone that has a whole ass other family somewhere, okay? Or I know many people who are dabbling, like they're starting emotional affairs, and they say to me, you know, Adrienne, like, this is what's been happening, or this, you know, this guy from high school wants to go have lunch with me. And I try to be very open. I try to listen and hear what they have to say. But if they ask me for advice, I always tell them, don't do it. It's not worth it. And also majority of my DMs are about someone who wants to step out or someone who's frustrated so much. They're like, that's it. I'm going to find a side piece or whatever. It's everywhere. And I want to speak on it. I want to share my experience with it. And if I can save one person here from entering into one, I feel like this will be a success for me. Like I've accomplished my goal. And listen, I know that stuff can happen. It's happened to me. But the reality is, and I'll talk about that more at the end of this episode, it never ends well. Okay? Even if you don't get caught, it doesn't end well for the parties involved. Okay? It just doesn't. You know, and let me say this. Let me start by saying this. I have been involved in every situation possible when it comes to affairs. Okay? I have been the one having the affair. I have been the affair partner. And I have also been cheated on countless times. Okay? And then imagine the times that I didn't even know about. All right? If you've listened to episodes earlier on, then you are familiar with the name Mr. July. I openly shared my experience in that affair, and it's a dramatic episode. It's a dramatic ending on episode. There's a bonus episode. It's called Remember Who the Fuck You Are. And I talked about that it was a very vulnerable, and I was exposing myself because it was so real and so raw. I had just officially ended things with him after, God, what was it, like 2 years? And, that episode is still hard for me to listen to, but that's when I decided, like, that affair situation, it changed me forever. It woke my ass up, and I will never, ever, ever be any part of an affair ever again. Okay? There's a lot of things. There's lots of things to discuss when it comes to affairs, but in today's episode, I'm going to be focusing on what can you expect if you are actively having an affair and the impacts that will most likely happen that it will have on your life. Okay, so this episode is what to expect if you're having an affair. All right. And listen, I just want to say something else too. If you've found this episode and you're someone that has caught your partner in an affair, or, you know, you just found out about an affair and you've been cheated on, I'm so sorry. It is vital for you to know and to understand that your partner cheating on you has absolutely nothing to do with you. It truly doesn't. 100% of when I've been involved in affairs, it's because of my own issues, my own insecurities, and my very own shortcomings. It had absolutely nothing to do with my partner, okay? So if you're dealing with this right now, I'm really sorry, but please know it has nothing to do with you. And there was absolutely nothing you could have done to stop that affair from happening. You know, a lot of my friends will talk about, what if he cheats on me? Or what if he steps out? Or what if he does like his coworker? Or, oh my God, what if that friend that's a girl isn't really a friend? You can what if yourself to death, but at the end of the day, if your partner's going to cheat on you, they're going to cheat on you. And no amount of worry, stress, or anxiety is going to change that outcome. And it has, again, nothing to do with you. Okay, I just want to give that disclaimer because I know how intense this situation can be. I know how hard it can be. And so I just want to say that. Okay, so what to expect if you're having an affair? High highs, low lows, disassociation, flat out chaos. That pretty much sums it up, okay? If you are currently in one, I bet that all of those words resonate with you. I can guarantee it. You can expect that once you cross that line, okay, an emotional or physical affair, your current relationship will never, and I mean ever, be the same, okay? You will mourn what you had before you stepped out. Trust me, like even in relationships that were hard and toxic for me and I knew I needed to get out of, after you make that first move, there's no going back. And you will often say to yourself, oh, I wish I could just go back. I wish I wouldn't have done that. So I will warn you that your current relationship, the one you're stepping out on, it will never, ever, ever be the same, okay? I tell anyone who talks to me before they get into an affair or if they're entertaining the idea of one, don't do it. The chaos it causes is simply not worth it, okay? If you're in an affair, you can expect to get lost in the sauce, aka what I like to call the affair fog. I actually used to call it the mist. Like I would text my friends and be like, I'm in the mist. Affair fog is a very, very real thing. Your brain is literally on drugs, okay? Like that dopamine is so real and you will chase those highs. Okay, you will get reckless and eventually slip up. It's so unbelievably rare when affairs don't get figured or found out. Eventually, someone somewhere makes a mistake. When I talk about being reckless and chasing that high, I remember at the very tail end of Mr. July and I's involvements, it was to the point where we had already got caught once. Actually, yeah, we got caught once. Yeah. Once before. I'm trying to remember. We got caught so many fucking times. I can't remember. Anyway, I remember he had to stash his phone at the gym and then I met him at the hotel. I had actually, and this is something that I have never done and I never will do again, because one thing about me, I know I'm wild, but my priorities are always straight. But I had actually hired a babysitter on a Sunday. I'm mortified and embarrassed to admit that, but this is real. That was the level I was willing to go to chase that high with him, to get that, you know what I mean? Like, I just can't even tell you. He was stashing his phone, hiding. I mean, we were so reckless. That's extremely reckless behavior, okay? And if you're in an affair, you need to expect that. You're going to find yourself there too, okay? Because it is intoxicating. It just is. You can expect and remember that what goes up must come down. We talked about those high highs and those low lows. It is a roller coaster that you will never be able to imagine, okay? I like to tell the story about how when I would go meet him at hotels and stuff, the drive there, I would literally be like gripping my steering wheel. My heart would be racing. I felt like it was Christmas morning, okay? I think we used to text each other and be like, Merry Sexmas Eve the night before. There's nothing cute about that. Nothing funny about that. But I would drive there and I would be so excited, like high. I was literally like racing to get to him. And then the moment that hotel door would close behind me, the guilt, the shame, oh my gosh, it was like the highest high, the lowest low. So I'm telling you, if you're in an affair, expect to ride this ride. And it's a lot of high highs and a lot of low lows, ups and downs, baby. Okay, like you need to expect that for real. Expect to learn the word limerence. Let's talk about this. And you need to accept that when you're in an affair, that's what you're experiencing. It's not lust. It's not love. It's simply not. And once you can learn the word limerence, I'm going to define it here in a second, it is vital to you because this is what you're going through. Okay, so limerence is a state of mind that describes intense, obsessive, and involuntary infatuation or romantic desire for another person. It can feel irrational and intrusive, and it is different from love or lust because it's based on the uncertainty that the other person also desires you. I have a couple examples I want to talk about here because I can't stress to you enough. I thought I was in love with him. I was like, nope, we are different. No one knows. Like we're different. This is real. It felt that real to me, but in reality, it wasn't at all. And when I started learning about limerence and really taking a step out and looking from the outside looking in, I was like, yeah, it was limerence. Okay, so difference between love and limerence. I'm going to give you a few. Love is a solid connection inspired by adoration. Limerence is a brief moment of immense attraction. That's an affair. Love takes months to develop. Limerence occurs almost instantaneously, right? It's like love at first sight. You are all in with this person. You have never felt so in love in your whole life. That's limerence. Love is an emotional bond. Limerence is mainly physical and idealistic attraction. That's such a huge word, right? Like I still to this day, after spending 2 years with him on and off or whatever, I don't know who Mr. July is. I don't know what he's like when he has a bad day at work. I don't know what it's like to pay bills with him. I don't know what it's like to know struggles that he's going through. I was idealizing everything about him and my attraction with him. Okay? All right. Love is rational thinking. Limerence is guided by emotions. Love is mutual trust. Limerence is mutual magnetism. Those magnets. And they're strong. They're so strong. Love is a deep understanding of flaws and imperfections. Limerence is focusing on perfections and looking for emotional, sexual gratifications. Oh my God, that was like us summed up. I didn't know anything negative about him. All I saw was the good. Of course, it's fantasy land, right? But when you're in it, like I really thought, I was like, oh my gosh, like I really care for him. Yeah. It's easy to laugh about it now, but when you're in it, when you're in that affair fog, it's no joke. Okay. And if you're in an affair right now and you've been feeling these things, like for real, like go check this out. Limerence versus love. Like it will help snap you out of it a little bit. Okay. So love is selfless behavior. Limerence is self-centered desires. Like you're in it for each other and your soul selfish reasons. That's an affair. Okay. Love is couples present themselves as they are, and limerence is couples show each other only the best of their personality. That's what an affair is. Like I said, Mr. July doesn't know me. He doesn't know who I really am, and I don't know him, even though you think you do. It is a fantasy. It's kind of a lie. It's not real. And so it's very important to distinct between love and limerence, right? There's a distinct difference. Okay. I also, like I was talking earlier, I think it's very important to take a good look from the outside. Like, what does it really look like from the outside, that whole affair? I'm pretty sure most of you will agree it's not a good view. Okay, it's not a good look. Deep down that you are spiraling. It's not love, okay? It's limerence. And the outcome for your entire situation is not, the two of you holding hands, skipping off into the sunset together. It's just not fucking real. when I think about the Mr. July stuff, I think, what did I expect that his wife would just be like, you're right. You two are just meant to be together. I'm so happy for you. I support this. Yeah, let's go to our kids' fucking weddings and anniversaries and celebrations. And we'll all just be one big happy family. And then when my family meets him, my friends know him and they know how we got into this together. No big deal. Everyone will accept it. They all will agree. We are just meant to be. I mean, it's not real. It's fantasy. And when you put yourself down that path with the person that you're in the affair with, you see that and you realize it quickly. Okay, so take some time to think about that, outside looking in. All right. What to expect if you're in an affair, you need to expect that you're going to feel a lot of confusion and a hell of a lot of guilt. Okay. Now listen, there's narcissists out there. This is their thing. This is what they do. Good on them. But if you have any empathy at all whatsoever and you're a decent human being, you're going to have a lot of confusion and you're going to have a lot of guilt. Okay. I think it's one of the most mind-fucking things about the affair is how wild it is that you could be fleeting one moment and then failing entirely the next. And how alarming it is too, like your affair, you become so dependent, like your emotions are so dependent on what's going on in that current affair. It has like a big grip over your real life and your current relationship. And yet you have to like suffer in silence. Like I remember Mr. July wouldn't text me back and I was like, what's wrong? What's going on? Then I had to like play house with, my current relationship and pretend that everything's fine, right? Like you're suffering in silence and you're mad at your affair partner, but you can't say, gee, honey, I'm really sad and upset today because my boyfriend's mad at me or my boyfriend and I are having a fight. You know what I mean? Like think about that. It's crazy. If you're in an affair, you can expect for your life to implode. Okay. And I'm not being dramatic when I say that, whether it involves your partner or not, the implosion, it happens, okay? We aren't meant to keep secrets. It's like drinking poison, and it doesn't taste good, okay? It is thrilling and exhilarating at first, but we are not good, normal people. We are not good at living double lives. You start to feel like completely dismantled and as if you've been splitting yourself up. It's the most disjointed and detached feeling ever, okay? And at some point, everything's going to come to an end. It could crash and burn, like your partners can find out. That's a high probability. Or you can end it and then have to process that while pretending all is well in your current relationship and we're back to square one. And the new reality is now often worse than what we originally began with because now we're harboring this massive secret and dealing with all of these emotions in silence and alone, okay? I know some of you are thinking, yeah, but we're in love. Like, we're different. Like, me and Mr. July, like, we were different. This is going to work out. Sure, Jan. But how strong and how secure is your foundation going to be with the person you're having an affair with, right? You know what they're capable of because they did it with you, all right? Will you be secure? I truly believe that the way that you step into a relationship is most likely going to be the way you're going to step out if you do. Okay, the odds are in your favor for that. So think about it. And again, think about the implications about how tough it's going to be living with all of that history and how you guys began. How will it impact your family, your children, friends? I mean, it's a lot, okay? I would say that, anyone who survives an affair and they end up with their affair partner and they live happily ever after, right? They are absolutely the exception. They are not the rule, okay? This is some heavy stuff that we're talking about, I know. But from my experience, and I know that many of you are in these experiences, they're very real for you. And if you find yourself in an affair or you're thinking about being in one, just don't do it. Okay. I can honestly say I think that anyone that's been in an affair, most of us absolutely regret it. The short high was not worth the long-lasting negative effects. It's not. So what can you do about it? If you are currently in an affair, take a glance at your life from the outside looking in, right? And acknowledge it. Give yourself that reality check. Think about the limerance, okay? Define what's really going on. Like an unbiased opinion of yourself. Have that, that what's the word I'm looking for? Jesus, not self-control, like self-awareness, like have the self-awareness, okay? And if you're on the edge of finding yourself into an affair, run. Do not walk to the nearest exit, okay? I mean, this might mean something crazy, like you need to change your job or change your gym or maybe even move, but whatever it takes, get away from it and try as hard as you can not to get involved. Do not slip, fall, and land on top of them, okay? Like we're not gonna be doing that. Something else that you could do with the self-awareness is to work on yourself, right? Affairs are almost always because of a void or an issue that we're facing internally with ourselves, right? Work on yourself and then work on your relationship. And I want you to think about something. The energy and effort that you are putting into that affair partner, or maybe that emotional affair that you started, if you put half of that into your current relationship, things can really turn around for you. So I want you to do that. And I also want you to know it's never too late to change your mind and to change your life and redirect your life to a better path for you, okay? Acknowledge it, accept it, and work on it, and try to find true happiness within yourself. I think that's huge. And listen, I'm looking in the mirror when I say all these things. I've been there, I've done that, and I don't want or wish that for anybody. And I know so many people. I had a friend talk to me the other day about how he was having an affair, it went a little too far, and now he's just so heartbroken, but his wife doesn't know. Like, that's really fucking hard. And this is this real stuff that happens. And so I hope that this has touched some of you if you were in an affair or you're thinking about being in one, and you can see that there is a way out, or maybe this helped you just a little bit. I hope so. Okay, if you have thoughts on this, or if you have any questions you want to ask me, do not forget that I am now dropping episodes every week. So next Tuesday will be Ask A. You can ask me anything on my website, midlifecraving.com, or head over to Instagram at midlifecraving and send me a DM. I will answer your questions next Tuesday. I will see you next Tuesday. Okay. Let me press stop. Man, I feel like I'm racing through that. It's like da-da-da-da-da-da. And when I have so many notes... Hey, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, please comment. Tell me what you guys are thinking. I would love to hear from you. And also subscribe, please. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. I really want to grow this channel. I want to start going live here. So do that for me, okay? Mwah. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.